Welcome back to Apatros Review. In this episode, Bloodfist. Hi there, welcome back to Apatros Review. I'm your host, Milo Sipka, and join me as I take a ride through the wild world of science fiction action horror, from my personal DVD collection. Sorry, I just had to move the camera there for a sec. Now in this episode we look at the film Bloodfist, which is a 1989 martial arts film that's become a cult classic. And it was filmed in both the USA and the Philippines, and it came out on the 22nd of September 1989. It is available in the US. It was available on the New Horizons Home Video, long since out of print, and in Australia for Jigsaw Entertainment, and double feature DVD from Flashback Entertainment. I'll review Bloodfist II in the future. Anyway, this is actually I'm going to review all 8 of the Bloodfist films in the future. Next year I'll finish up the rest of the series, but this year I'll do the first 2. Now this was the film that pretty much started the film career of Don the Dragon Wilson. It's a bit of windshield here. Who was a champion big kickboxer, won the best of his kind. And he basically in 1989 he started this film, and it pretty much propelled his career into a B-list action hero of the 90s. Now, like I said, this was originally released on Region 4 DVD by Jigsaw Entertainment before getting a reissue years later in a double feature with Bloodfist II in a set collection by Flashback Entertainment. Now, for the story. After getting a phone call from Manila police in the Philippines telling him that his kickboxer brother had been found dead in the alleyway, having been brutally beaten to death, LA gym owner and former boxer Jake Ray decides to head to the Philippines to track down the killer. With only a fragment of red polyester found in his brother's hand to go on, Jake meets up with his brother's trainer, the mysterious Kwong, who informs him that his brother died right after his last match in the Tachang, an underground freestyle fighting tournament designed for the gambling market. Sorry about that. Where fighters from around the world meet up to beat each other into submission for large sums of money. Taking up Kwong's offer of training him to take his late brother's place, Jake falls in with another fighter, the cocky American Baby Davis. Yeah, that's his name, Baby. Apparently his parents couldn't decide what to name him, so they just kept naming him Baby. And stripper sister Nancy, whom Jake takes a liking to. And whilst training, tries to figure out which of the Tachang fighters he's due to be fighting against murdered his brother. But soon enough, as he battles his way through the tournament, Jake comes to the nasty realization that he has been lied to, and the real killer is somebody he has already met. And so goes the story for Bloodfist, one of the greatest cult classic martial arts films of the very late 1980s, a time when the martial arts genre was moving away from cheesy Hong Kong source Shaw Brothers Chop Suey and was getting more international in its nature, showcasing heavily armed devotees of the mystical art of hand-to-hand to foot-to-head unarmed combat from all over the world. This shift in the genre started with the early films of a certain Belgian muscle man named Jean-Claude Van Damme, who made a number of films in the late 1980s that featured him fighting various fighting tournaments, like the mystical Kumite in the film Bloodsport, which was billed as a true story, but the claims by the man whose character Van Damme played in the film, Frank Dukes, could not be verified, as he was known for spinning tall tales about his supposed exploits. And the Thai kickboxing circuit in Kickboxer, one of Van Damme's best films, and a film that exists in various cut versions. Although the closest you can come to an uncut version was the original Australian VHS release from Palace Video. I will review the Kickboxer films in the future, and a number of episodes on the original. With the success of these films, a new era of martial arts thrillers came about and proved to be a major draw in the direct-to-video market in the 1990s. After Bloodsport proved its modest success and cult reputation, Roger Corman decided to make his own low-budget copy of Bloodsport, shooting in Manila during the late months of 1988, and utilizing the talents of director Terence H. Winkless, writer Robert King, and production designer Joe Marie Evelena, who also does double duty as an arch-villain of the show. But something was missing, something special. Corman, to his immense credit, decided on the brainwave of casting real-life martial artists to play the fighters in the film. It was a genius move. Not only did he manage to cut a lot of costs by not having to train the performers in the martial arts since they were already professionals in the field, but they also managed to boost the careers of many of them. In particular, a certain highly praised professional kickboxing champion named Don the Dragon Wilson, who had become a star in the genre thanks to the success of Bloodfist, his first movie appearance. He went on to make a modest career in the 1990s direct-to-video action market, with his output consisting of work for both Corman, the Bloodfist franchise in its entirety, save for a cheap futuristic remake in the early 2000s, PM Entertainment, the Ring of Fire and Cybertracker series, and even doing a couple of films for Fred Olen Ray. The video store crowd of the 1990s loved Wilson for his ability to throw a decently brutal-looking punch or kick, and his demeanor of being a modest 1990s action star. Bloodfist earned a surprising $1.77 million in its limited theatrical release, but saved its true punch for home video, where VHS sales reached something like $11 million. It was released in both R-rated and unrated versions, the latter the unrated version of which the Australian DVD from Flashback Entertainment derived its print from. Although the quality of pretty much every release of the film is in surprisingly average condition, given the Concord Studios' threadbare operating values. For all that success and massive cult reputation amongst fans of martial arts flicks, Bloodfist is a surprisingly disappointing film. It's not a terrible film by any stretch of the imagination, but not exactly a decent film by proper standards either. Instead, it's just a budget quickie that, despite having the novelty of starring a great number of real-life martial arts performers, like Wilson, Chris Aguilar, Rob Kaman, and his second role in the film is Taibo founder Billy Blanks, who shows off his stamina in the film by massacring whole squads of unsuspecting bricks by slamming them into his head, and a reasonable amount of martial arts combat. Goes by on an alarmingly predictable revenge-thriller Hogan plot. I personally managed to guess the entire storyline, including the identity of the killer, by the 15-minute mark, about the time the killer makes his first appearance. I won't spoil it for you, but you'll be easy for you to find out. And the acting is pretty bad. Most of the cast don't seem to understand the final subtleties of the acting profession, with dialogue that comes with the impact of a sledgehammer, and plot twists that are extremely crude in their setup as are the fight scenes. This last point is something of a surprise, given the number of professional fighters seen here, although that could be due to the sloppy fight choreography and the hand-fisted camera setups that linger in places that don't need it, like the lean into each punch. These guys seem to be overselling the punches a slight bit, but not enough to break the conviction of the blows and kicks. Some of the shots even look a little strange. While I cannot recommend the original Bloodfist to anybody other than an aficionado of the martial arts genre or fans of 1990s direct-to-video action flicks in general, due to its crudeness, it is, however, an important film in the genre, and fans of Don the Dragon Wilson will enjoy seeing their hero here in his first ever film role, and the majority of sequels in this franchise managed to be better. With that in mind, I give Bloodfist a D+, a 3 out of 10. It's alarmingly crude in its setup and production values, but it does do its job passably well if you're a fan of this sort of thing. Now for the gore. There's plenty of broken noses, blood spurts from mouth, and small body counts. As for nudity, well, there's two pairs of breasts seen here, one pair from Riley Bowman, who plays Wilson's stripper love interest, and the other pair from a local stripper. Now for the DVD. This review print was from a set of double features that Flashback Entertainment released in the late 2000s, a rejig of the old Jigsaw Entertainment singles. The quality is pretty average for the set, although the VHS quality won't deter die-hard Bloodfist fans, since at least this is the uncut version, and that counts for something, doesn't it? And with a picture taken from an NTSC VHS tape, and dual mono sound that has some distortion rare moments, particularly some of the background noise. There are no subtitles, and the two films on this first disc, Bloodfist I and Bloodfist II, play together as one feature. No supplement on this disc either, but then again, the most supplement this film I've got globally are trailers. Now, I don't do requests, but if you want to know of a particular film, just hit me up in the comments section, I'll answer. Hope you guys are staying safe, and that's it for this review.